Hi, I'm Manila, CIO at the Newcastle Building Society Group, and we're a building society, but also supported by two key subsidiaries, a financial advice business and strategic solutions, provider of outsourced management for many other banks and building societies, predominantly for savings. Um, moving on to the second slide. Collectively, within our society members and the customers of our solutions clients, we have around 1.5 million customers and we manage over 30 billion in deposits. We're based in the Northeast, in Cumbria, North Yorkshire, with 31 branches and over 1,200 colleagues. I'm passionate about digital transformation and I'm happy to share the story of the journey that we're on here at Newcastle today. Throughout the session, if you've got any questions, please just add them into the chat box and I'll do my best to answer them as we go. So the key drivers for evolving the digital proposition that we have are underpinned by three key elements. Firstly, around valuing conversation, and secondly, around combining face-to-face and digital interactions to create exceptional personal experiences. And the third one is around using digital to enhance human connections. The approach that we take to design and build our digital propositions is very customer centric, and this also informs our future tech roadmap. One of the key digital developments that we've launched in the last 18 months is our mobile app. And I'm going to share with you how that has also been a catalyst for a wider digital transformation program. So, as I said, valuing conversation and using digital to enhance our conversations are really key to us. We're constantly looking for ways to maintain strong customer relationships and trust while drawing upon the benefits of digital and automation and utilizing them as a true enabler of excellent customer experiences. To give you some of the examples that we've introduced in the last 18 months or so, we run our financial information, we call them big talks, financial information sessions, both in person, but over the last 18 months, we've been running them virtually with both a personalised and a local delivery element to it. Our colleague Ken, who we now call Digital Ken, is supported on screen by familiar faces from our members' local branch. And before the pandemic, these would all have been run in person from each of the branches. But the virtual big talks will continue to augment our in-person seminars in the future. We've used digital as an enabler to create a personalised experience with the colleagues that members will already have an existing relationship with at a time when in person just wasn't an option. Volunteering and supporting our communities is part of our DNA. And with COVID really impacting this, we introduced an innovative volunteering app to safely volunteer. So our volunteers would pick up micro tasks from the app to meet their criteria based on what they were able to offer their support with. And they entered this based on whether that would be a phone call to somebody who was really lonely or doing their shopping or any other type of activity. And our colleague volunteers would then be matched with somebody looking for support, and then they would deliver them real life help and support locally. Another example to bring to life what digital means for us is that the first thing that a customer sees on entering one of our branches is a friendly face, someone that's ready to listen and help them. It's not a digital screen, it's not a bank of machines which are there to replace human interaction. Of course, we use digital and the capability that it brings to speed up the background transactions which underpin our services in branch, over the phone, and online. And what we're aiming to do is to create more time for quality conversation by investing in our technology to automate the routine tasks. Time for conversation and understanding is a true commodity that we're really keen to share with our customers. And that was one of the big drivers in launching our mobile app, which I'll talk a bit more about in a moment. And just moving on to the next slide. So if we take a specific example of how we are driving our digital transformation, just looking at the mobile app. So the key drivers for the app in some ways are obvious. As you know, apps are now a primary contact point for many customers looking to undertake simple transactions with their bank or building society. And we were starting to see this coming through more and more from customers through our Voice of the Customer program, feedback from colleagues, and from engagements with our solutions clients. So for us, though, there was a very important principle that we established right up front, and that was that the app would be built in a way to enhance the customer experience. It was never to replace face-to-face service or telephony support. There would be no forced migration to this new channel. It would be built to enhance the interactions that we have with our members across all of our touch points and help to deepen the relationships that we had already built up. Before we started, what we needed to know though was what was the size of the demand for the app from our different customer types and what functionality was most important to our members. Getting the design right is really important, and we follow a user-centered design approach really to solve any problem within the business, but particularly when approaching a digital initiative. And there's several stages to that methodology that we follow and that we did so with the app. Firstly, it's about understanding customer need. So we started talking to our customers about it. And just looking at the next slide here, you can see that the first thing that surprised us was to the extent the demand for the app was there, with only 11% of those asked saying that they wouldn't find it useful. The fact that there was an age split was less surprising, but nonetheless, there was still strong demand from customers in the older age brackets. And when we looked at different product types, what became clear really was that those customers who are actively managing their savings with us said that they were much more likely to find the app useful. And that was best illustrated by our lifetime ISA customers who'd actively building up their savings ready to buy their first home. We actually found that not having an app was felt as a barrier to these customers using us and building up their lifetime ISAs with us. If we look at the slide that touches on key functionality, next we looked at what was the functionality that was going to be important to customers. What did they want most? What we learned was that the most basic transactions, such as obtaining a balance and moving funds in and out of the account, that was the biggest need for customers. We asked about access to other banks, but to be honest, there was little demand for this. So I do think there's still some way to go with open banking in that regard. Looking at the next slide, we also did a lot of analysis understanding the apps that customers currently use, engaging with, and also just trying to understand how our customers like to manage their money. To ensure that all stakeholders were aligned around the right problem we were trying to solve, and to give us focus, we defined a set of principles, a framework, if you like, a set of objectives to agree upon. And then we started to ideate and explore opportunities to create the ideas that would help to solve the problem statement. And we went through this rapid ideation and concept creation and benchmarking phase. If we're looking at the next slide, this is looking at each of these different areas of the journey. And When we created the prototype, ultimately to define and communicate what the ideas would look like and feel like, we then tested those. And all of this material was available to colleagues. We would share designs or the results of the analysis. We created videos for our intranet so that colleagues and also our solutions clients could be taken on the journey and also help to feel part of the experience that was unfolding. The ideation and prototyping and testing phase is very iterative. So when we had a design that we were happy with, we conducted thorough usability testing under lab conditions. And this highlighted key insights and feedback around changes that we needed to make before putting the app in the hands of customers. We made those changes, or we would put them on a product backlog for future release. And then when the app was fully tested, we released it to a closed alpha group of around 100 colleagues. And they were using this as a genuine savings app with their own accounts. Similarly to the lab conditions, we would collate a lot of feedback, a lot of data and analytics from our tracking and monitoring tooling. Again, we would iterate, and then we launched it to a beta group of around 1,000 customers. Those would also include the customers who'd participated in the lab-based testing. They're a very engaged group of customers who want to influence the direction and co-create with us, essentially. As a side note, we have actually since launched a digital community. This is a platform for our members, and one of the purposes really is to use the platform to collate and collaborate with our members to help to give members the opportunity to influence the product and the service proposition roadmap and future of the business. Finally, after all of that, then we progressed to a public launch. And we've seen since then a real steady rise in the downloads and the usage. And I'll share some of the results with you shortly. And looking at the next area, the next slide, what I would say is that we don't think about the app as a project. It's not something that was built and is now done. This is a product that will continually evolve as demands of customers change, as business demands change, and technology capabilities continue to evolve. This is an approach that was a change for us, and it did require stakeholders to start to think differently. But it makes sense when you understand it. Customers' expectations and the environment that we live in are continually evolving. Customers' expectations of digital experiences are really influenced by their interactions with other services, whether that be how they shop on Amazon or how they consume media through Netflix, the devices that they use, our phones evolve, our tablets evolve. All of that means that we need our app to remain relevant and useful in an ever-changing environment. It's really a bit like running a branch. We have to continually maintain it and refresh it. So what we have is a multidisciplined Scrum team who really own and drive the app. There's a variety of skill sets that are part of that team, and they're constantly working on the next release. Since the initial launch, we've had many small releases and probably 4 or 5 big feature releases, which again, they all followed a very similar release approach to the original of beta testing and then full public launch. The team have also supported the launch for several of our solutions clients. And what we do there is we spin up a separate environment for each client, we brand it, and we manage the release through the App Store under the client's own brand name. We have a backlog of many ideas, but those that are shaped into the releases for the next four quarters. But we're constantly analysing the data, the analytics, the feedback from our society members, from our colleagues, and from our solutions clients to really help shape and continually refine the backlog. The approach that we've taken to develop the tech means that for us, it's much more than just an app. We've really used this opportunity to develop the app against a new architecture of microservices enabled through APIs and built with open banking in mind. We host in Microsoft Azure Cloud, and we're utilizing a powerful suite of tracking and data tools. We're truly utilizing modern technology, design, and architecture, and collaborating in an agile build that continues to see product features released to further enhance capabilities for our customers. And this approach for the app has led into a digital transformation program, which is now leading to a redevelopment of our wider application architecture and whole technology estate, our processes, our capabilities for our customers and for our colleagues. But the key here was we were responding to a customer need, and we've been utilizing the opportunity as a catalyst to take the whole business on a transformation journey. The approach that we're taking to this wider transformation program is very iterative, it's agile, and it's ensuring that we deliver value as we go. We're listening to our colleagues and our customers to ensure that the needs are being heard and met, and that the commercial needs of the business are driving the agenda. It's not the technology needs. As we've started with the mobile app, we are evolving our cloud-based microservices and starting to redesign and build our vertical monolithic mortgage and savings product stack onto a much more modular technology architecture, which is enabling greater flexibility and a gradual migration of the business rather than a big bang approach. Really what this is doing is it's enabling faster delivery of services and easier integration with partners, which is creating more option and choice for us. And having greater optionality is really important. It's important to ensure that we continue to adapt and to respond to the changing needs of both the society, but also for the varied range of banks and financial institutions who choose to run their business with us. We are designing our mortgage and our savings experiences through a digital first lens, but always underpinned by our three key principles that I outlined at the beginning. One, we value conversation. Two, we're combining face-to-face and digital interactions to create exceptional personal experiences. And thirdly, we're using digital to enhance the human connections. So if you just move on to the next slide, we're looking to take a look at the results. I said I would share some of the results and what we've been seeing from the uptake of the app, which has been a significant investment in our digital transformation throughout 2020 and 21. Downloads are growing at a steady rate every week. We're seeing on average around 1.5 access a day. Usage is far exceeding what we've ever seen for our online servicing. Some interesting snippets are the demographic is around 55% male, 80% of our customer downloads are from under 35s, and 92% are under 50. We've seen a really positive impact to customer service centre and a change in the nature of the conversation from transactional balance queries to more in-depth conversations with our colleagues, which really makes it more interesting discussions for our colleagues, as well as being a value add for a customer. We see this in branch also and over the phone for Newcastle clients, and for those clients who've actually launched the app already. It's still relatively early days for us, but the future potential for the app is huge. If you think about customers now accessing the brand nearly a couple of times every day, that really puts the brand at the forefront of customers' minds and as a part of their daily lives in a way that we didn't have before. And I do recognise that investing in building an app and in fact building out a digital proposition is not an insignificant cost for building societies, but it's a part of doing business today. And as I said earlier, it's not a project that you can think about that is going to be built and will be done. It's an ongoing commitment um, to really do it right. In many ways, we are fortunate with our business model, our society, and the many banks and building societies who choose to run from our platform can access our evolving digital propositions for a fraction of the cost that it would take to do it themselves because of our economies of scale. And what each of our clients and the society invest in is not just the propositions that we're launching now, but it's the future roadmap. It's the commitment to research, to user-centered design, and to a fully multi-skilled set of teams who continually shape and continuously evolve the products. So thank you for listening, and I hope that you've found our digital transformation story useful.